we're set to go. So let me maybe just start with an introduction. So to myself. So I'm I work for Europe Active. I represent the Professional Standards Committee. I'm the director of the Professional Standards Committee. We are the body that develops educational standards for the European fitness industry. We work with training providers across Europe and the world in the provision, the delivery of courses in personal training and fitness instruction. But we also run the European Register of Exercise Professionals, EREPS, which is a member-based organization for personal trainers and instructors out there. So I am very aware that this is an extremely difficult time for everybody, but particularly for personal trainers, because many of them now find themselves with nowhere to train clients. Many may find themselves out of work, looking for other options. So I want to try and support those guys as much as I possibly can. I'm very grateful to you all as experts in this area in personal training, and particularly in the area of online personal training, for agreeing to take part in this call. It's really good of you. I very much appreciate it. And I guess we're looking for some key insights, really. A lot of those PTs, as I say, will be looking to transition to the online environment and looking for tips. So I'm hoping that that's what you guys can give with all the experience that you have between you. But the less from me, the better. I'm just really the facilitator here. So what I'd like to do is really to just sort of do a quick introduction from you all. So just a few words on your background, your experience, and you know, particularly maybe in the context of online PT. So perhaps we could start with. Could we start with Anna?
Yes, well, I have been working with online personal training since 2013. I have a background in business administration and psychology and behavioral design. Also, I have some educations within modern pain science and stress management, and also physiology and personal training. So I kind of saw a need to combine that. The reason why I went into online training was in huge part because I missed to have content with my customers in many more touch points than those touch points that we have with them when we meet one-on-one. And there are so many decisions between those meetings, those physical meetings, where they can sidetrack or doubt themselves, or whether it's the right decision or not, and how to actually adjust their better habits and lifestyle changes to whatever happens in their lives. So I really felt I needed to get into this gap between one-on-one meetings and actually be there with them, for them, in this space. Since then, a long story, very short, in 2016, I saw a need of actually having longer time with my clients, and I have gathered so much experience at that point that I felt confident in selling 1-year programs. You know, when first you start selling 1 hour, and then you sell 5 hours, then 10 hours, whoa, and then maybe 3 months. But then I was like, I need more time with these people. And 700 women signed up for this 1-year online program. And I was a little overwhelmed also because at least all women panic at almost the same times of the year. So 700 women in panic, it was a lot. And I also had a team, like a freelance team, to help coach them. But there was so much to do, and when we started working so closely with them, in so many touch points, we found out that there were so many barriers actually between the client and their desire of being more active, like pain or feelings of being awkward while doing different movements, very difficult to navigate in food choices and all this stuff. So I actually ended up with hiring 25 people full time who have been customers before. So they were kind of tuned into my way of working and my philosophy was with the clients. And they were also physiotherapists and psychologists and teachers and psychomotor therapists and huge multidisciplinary team. So that's what we were doing since 2016, is do this 1 year programs, which we now do twice a year. We enroll clients in them, and we have about 2,500 clients yearly in this 1 year program. So we have gathered a huge amount of experience and data and very much insight into the psychology of the clients, which I will be delighted to share with you how you can work with them online in that way.
Okay, yes, that's very interesting. The first thing that strikes me there is that you know that you wanted to be able to communicate better with your clients. You wanted those touch points. And you know, maybe many people might think that the online environment is more distant, in fact, you know, more detached or whatever, and that communication is lessened in some way. But from what you're saying, it would suggest that that's actually the opposite case, that you're able to have many touch points with them and therefore able to offer them more support.
Definitely. And I like to say that it's not online training, it's human to human training. So the format doesn't really matter.
Yes, no, absolutely. No, I get that. That's a really good point, isn't it? You know, that's the way we should look at that. I mean, obviously, you've had tremendous growth there in terms of the numbers of people you're working with. It's interesting that you're working specifically with women, I believe, and so you found maybe a niche or some point of differentiation there. Excuse me, sorry. Some point of differentiation there, which I think is a really important point and one that we can develop on as we have this conversation. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Anna. Maybe David, could we hear from you?
Hey everyone. So my name's David Kingsbury, and I've been a personal trainer since I was 17 years old. So I qualified very early on. And so I've been a trainer for over 15 years. I own a personal training studio. I also own a gym, and I'm best known for my work as a personal trainer within the film industry. So I've worked in the film industry for nearly 10 years, training actors for film roles, and traveled the world doing that. I got into online training about around 8 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago even, and I started online personal training for a similar reason, actually. I went from being a very busy personal trainer. So I was doing 50 hours of personal training a week in my studio. And then I began working in the film industry, and I went from 50 hours a week to 1 hour a day. So I would just be hired to look after one person. And so I had more free time than I knew what to do with. And that's when I started online personal training. And I think it's very true, is that with online training and online coaching, you are able to service people much better than you can do one-on-one. And the reason being is because all of your time is focused on looking after people. Whereas when you're running one-on-one training, you're in appointments back to back. You don't have time to follow up text messages or emails or send food plans or to support or answer questions. You're paid per hour. Whereas with an online coaching platform, you definitely can do that. So it does allow you to coach and support a lot more than you can do one-on-one, especially if you are a busy personal trainer. But yeah, so I started online personal training around 8 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since, offering a variety of different services online, from cheap subscription products to one-time purchase program downloads, to high-end online personal training packages where people pay monthly subscriptions. For me, at this current point in time, the majority of my online personal training clients are on a kind of like a mid-range package. So they don't get weekly calls or anything like this. They get unlimited email support, and they get that side of the support. And for me, it allows me to have a relatively large amount of customers without the need for a very big team managing them. Because I've been doing online personal training for a long time, and I've, you know, taken it from nothing up to a relatively large business. There are some sweet spots there in terms of income and things like that. And I think that that's something that's worth considering, as well as, you know, in terms of how much time people have versus how much they want to be earning, and all of those kind of factors. There's lots of things you have to consider in terms of what you're giving away with your product, and what you know, what services you can provide for each person. But yeah, I mean, so that's my background there. Obviously, the film industry has ground to a halt, so we're doing no work in the film industry right now, and our my two gyms are closed and will be for the foreseeable future. And so we've transitioned the majority of our gym members onto online coaching as well. So for example, I've got a small group personal training gym, and we've transferred around 70% of our members across to an online training platform. So, which obviously is a big saving grace that we're able to do that. I would say, if you're a personal trainer out there at the moment and you have got physical clients, then you need to act pretty quickly to try and transition them across to some kind of online platform, because if you don't, someone else will. And there's a lot of opportunity at the moment to actually grow your client list rather than to lose it. There's a massive opportunity for that.
Okay, thank you, David. So I'm just interested, what films have you worked on?
So I've worked on the Wolverine, X-Men, some of the Marvel, Disney films, Marvel films. I've worked on dozens of films. Yeah,
great stuff. Wow, that's inspiring stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the couple of points that I just like to pick up on. I mean, interesting that you've just used the word opportunity, and I guess, you know, this is a time of some adversity out there, but also of considerable opportunity. I'm sort of discovering that myself, doing what I do, that, you know, it's opening my eyes to many of those online opportunities, those opportunities for innovation. And I guess that's what I would hope that the PTs out there would take from this, that there is a positive side. It's, you know, okay, it's a tough introduction, and people have got to act quickly and learn quickly, but there are great opportunities for them out there. Interesting as well, David, what you said about defining your service. I can imagine that's quite a tricky thing. You know, that you go out there, you offer an online, a human to human, sorry, Anna, service, but that could, you know, how much time do you give to that? How do you quantify that for your clients? Because you could become really a bit of a slave to that, I would suggest. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. I think that a lot of people shift from, you know, over the last few years, there's been a big trend in the fitness industry to shift from in-person to online, because it frees up your time, and it's all of these, you can work from a beach doing whatever. Like, it's this imaginary lifestyle type thing. But I can guarantee, for every single person that transitions from from physical personal training into online personal training, their hours go up. They work harder. You have to. For a certain amount of time. That's when you have to determine what level of service you're doing. That you have to make that decision, and then you potentially can free up some time there. But there's no easy ride with online training, with online support. It's hugely time consuming, but it has to be if you want to provide a good service initially. But what will happen is you will improve as you do it, and you will be able to iron out those, you know, when issues arise with people, you iron them out, you improve your process, and that way less questions are asked, and you know, the whole thing becomes a little bit more streamlined. But yes, it's gonna be time consuming. It absolutely is.
Yes. Okay. And you know, we've done a lot of survey work, and I think the number one reason for people becoming a personal trainer is that they want to help people. You know, that they're passionate about that. But then there is that opportunity or that possibility rather, that they might overcommit and give too much of their time, and obviously that really would create some issues. Okay, thank you, David, for that introduction. Just to mention, Carlos, is Carlos still on the call? Carlos, just to say, I'm not sure, we were due to be joined by Rocco from Greece. I don't know if you have his details there. If you could try and contact him and maybe resend him the invite, because
Yes.
I see he hasn't joined yet. But it would be nice to get him involved in the call if we could. Okay, fantastic. So perhaps I'm going sort of girl boy here. So we'll go Priyanka from India. If you could maybe just give a little bit of an introduction, Priyanka, that would be fantastic.
Hi, my name is Priyanka, and I have been working with Fitness and Sports Sciences Association now, and I have been a personal trainer past 6 years. And I started online training, say about at 2016. So online training in India, I would say that online training is a bit more challenging as compared to what you guys have already been doing there, because here people are still adapting to the entire concept of online training. Like slowly it's starting to begin the way people have adapted to it, because over here people prefer more of physical training compared to the online, because they feel very distant otherwise. Like they feel more connect when their trainer is with them, or rather they feel more motivated when the trainer is with them. So the kind of situation we guys are going through right now, it's really challenging, but at the same time the trainers over here are trying to adapt as much as they can. Again, point being, like David said, it'll boil down to defining your services. So right now, I would say that more of following up with the clients and more of being with them in terms of sending them email reminders or messages and encouraging them to maybe come on a Zoom meeting like this or on Skype and get them to train. These things are a bit challenging, but for me personally, it was a little smooth transition from physical training getting into the online perspective, because there were a couple of my clients also who keep traveling a lot, and getting a physical time, like physical class or physical session with them was challenging. So that's how it started off for me, I would say.
Okay.
And I would really like encourage all the personal trainers to really consider getting, or at least giving a try. I'm mostly speaking about the personal trainers in India, because yet it's a little bit challenging for them. They are still struggling to figure out ways how they can adapt to the online courses, because most of them sometimes they are a bit lost as to what are they supposed to be doing in online training. Because it can also be remote training, right? Like you can send them the routine, or that you can send them the schedule. It depends on what sort of services you're planning to give them. Based on that, yeah, so these are the couple of issues here, what's been going on.
Okay, Priyanka, it was really interesting to hear. Obviously, we don't, maybe, the Indian fitness market and personal training, that'll be an interesting insight for our EREPS membership. And obviously, we've been working with you guys. Okay, so quite a tough transition there. But listening to what you say, I mean, you point out a key point, which is that obviously through online training, we will keep using that phrase, there is the availability is definitely a positive here, that you have that direct communication, as Anna was saying, that can be more frequent. There is on that level, there's more human interaction, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'll bring you back in later. And Tim, sorry to keep you waiting. So I attended an online webinar that Tim gave recently on online training and how to get involved in that. So Tim, maybe you could give a little introduction.
Yeah, thanks, Julian. I'm super excited to be here. So my name is Timothy Obbers, or Tim, as you wish. I'm 33 years old, living in Belgium. I am a master trainer for Physical Coaching Academy, a health and fitness education provider. I'm into personal training since 2009, then started teaching personal trainers since 2012. And then I am active since 2013 as a online coach as well. I would say my main niche would be personal trainers and or personal training students. So besides coaching them online, as in providing them training programs, nutrition programs, lifestyle, and so on, I would also be teaching them online in a one-on-one way. And I think this would be a great opportunity for personal trainers to do as well with their clients, is not only coach them online, but also teach them or start teaching them online. So
do you mean actually running through a program, a live session with them?
Actually, since I'm coaching a lot of trainers, I'm not really doing live coaching sessions. I would be doing live teaching sessions. So we'd have like some kind of a private internship online.
Okay.
The coaching part would be like remote coaching. So I provide them training programs, nutrition programs. So they are more or less interested in the way I'm working or how am I providing my services online. So that would be my niche most of the time.
Okay, thank you, Tim. I guess that sort of raises a question that I have. You know, I'm thinking of all those PTs out there just coming into this. So, you know, personal training, we associate that with maybe, you know, that live one-on-one situation, coaching technique, working with clients as they go through their exercise, their fitness session. So, how does that translate to an online environment? So how do we actually do that, David? How do you do that?
And yes, so from my point of view, in terms of the way that we've traditionally delivered the training, obviously the big push at the moment, like it was an almost overnight switch, was to video coaching, so video live sessions, and of actually, you know, someone setting up a feed from their house and a coach physically taking them through a session there via a video link or telephone link and explaining them how to do the session and so on and so forth. That's something that, you know, I've never done. So in 8 years of online personal training, I've never done that with a client. So the way I, you know, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong to do that, but that's everyone's immediate instinct was to deliver exactly the same thing they were delivering before, which is, you know, one-on-one sessions on the hour, every half hour, whatever it might be, and to provide it like that. Like I say, I've as an online personal trainer for 8 years, I've never delivered a single session like that. So you don't have to.
Yes.
And if you're not delivering like that, then there's other ways of delivering the training in those situations. So we provide training plans.
Okay.
And then what we do is if people are worried about form on movements, we get them to upload videos of them performing the exercises where we then critique the movements and so on and so forth. So we're able to do it that way. But we work typically with guys who are, you know, have got some training experience, who are looking to take their results further. And so there's some advantage to that, obviously, in terms of the, you know, the knowledge of technique and things like that.
Yes.
But, you know, so having some kind of form coaching is still really important. But like I say, we've never done for my personal online training business. We've never done that now that we've transitioned the gym to online. We are actually running live classes for our members, but that's because that, you know, as part of their package, they're doing that. And I have a full coaching team. I have a, you know, team of trainers who work for me who are unable to coach sessions. So they're taking live sessions that the members can join. But then we're still using my online coaching in the way that I've delivered it traditionally, which is training plans, nutrition plans, accountability, you know, motivation, support, check-ins, all of that side of things, which ultimately is is going to, if you provide all of that, someone will get better results than if you just show up once or twice a week for a 30-minute video call. Do you know what I mean?
It's really good. Really good.
There's so much more you can deliver like that. And so I wouldn't instantly say that you have to go and jump onto these, to Zoom videos with your clients. You don't have to. It is an option, but again, you have to factor in how much time that's going to take up of your day. If you if you normally have however many, if you normally do 30 hours of personal training a week, then you're going to have to do 30 hours of videos a week. And realistically, that's going to be very difficult at the moment, especially if people are on isolation with their kids and their partners and their families. It's not necessarily going to be feasible. So, there are lots of options there. You just have to, again, you have to think about what's going to be realistic for you to deliver to people. The video sessions are good. Like, one way of doing it is I think something really important right now is to try and build a community and try and keep a community. So for the gym, we have a Facebook group where we do the live workouts and challenge workouts where everyone can join. And so for someone who has personal training clients right now, it's a perfect opportunity to build a community of those clients, bring them together, get them working together. Yes, provide all of those key elements that person needs to continue training, the training plans, the nutrition, the weekly check-ins, video check-ins if you want to do it, or email check-ins if you don't. But then you can provide some live workouts people can follow, some challenge workouts. And then we also do live Q&As twice a week. I do that with my online coaching clients. So I do 2 hours a week where I'll jump on and we'll do Q&As for covering all of the key topics. Any questions people have, any struggles, and we do that. And that way I can manage the majority of my questions in two hours of live videos per week, rather than in 10 hours a day of live sessions a week.
And I guess in that sense, David, you're sort of creating a community for them and some mutual support there in doing that, having those Q&As with multiple clients involved.
Yeah, it's the most important thing at the moment. Is if you can do anything at the moment, is to try and build a community of people, because they don't, people's gyms are closed, their workplaces are closed, like they've got nowhere to go. And so if they've got somewhere online to go where they can still see people, they can still meet people, it's really important.
Yes.
And this whole thing about social distancing, it's physical distancing. The social side of things we can keep up. So within the groups there, it doesn't have to all be training related. We're doing quiz nights and we're doing coffee mornings, and do you know what I mean? There's so much scope for this in terms of what you can do.
Yeah, and brilliant.
If no one else is doing it in your area, then you need to do it, because this is an opportunity to get clients for life.
Yeah, I recently was putting a PowerPoint together for a presentation, and I was trying to think of a title for this. It was EREPS facing, and I put EREPS at the heart of communities. And I think that's exactly what we can be as personal trainers out there, as fitness professionals. You can position yourself at the heart of communities to support those communities in being active. You've got a business to run, but you're creating those communities by the sound of it, David. So yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think it's really interesting to hear you make the point about that you're not there, delivering live PT sessions online, trying to replicate what we do in a live situation online. That is so insightful, I think, for members out there. That's not necessarily part of what you're achieving. Interesting that you're doing that for your gym members who are moving over more towards online, but I guess ultimately they may transition to that pure online environment as well. Anna, yeah, I see your hand up.
I was also thinking that I think it's an important decision to find out whether you actually transfer from physical to online training as just a phase, because you will be going back to doing the physical training, or you're actually trying to develop a new business model, because online training and physical training is not directly scalable to online if you want it to work in the long run. And you need to be prepared to think differently, actually. For example, we are training our clients that they need to take the responsibility. We're there when they need our help, but they need to reach out. So that, because we had the first two big courses we did, the programs, we were there and always following up and calling, and if they didn't answer, we kept calling, and we have a better success ratio now with people actually going through the program and getting results and coming back the second, the third, the fourth year, when we empower them to take action on their own. And that actually creates a different approach to how you're going to communicate, or how your material is going to be made in some kind.
Yes.
We have, for example, a huge video library, and we also have a delivery format where we send something out to everybody on the team, but then us, the team behind it, are there to help individualize and help to adjust and scale up or scale down and stuff like that. So it gets truly personal, but we're not starting over with every client.
Yes.
Over and
No,
over
no,
over
that's really
again.
interesting, and that's really interesting from a sort of biopsychosocial, if I can use that phrase. But that you're trying to, as you say, empower. You're trying to change their locus of control here. That they take responsibility for their program, and after all, that is ultimately what personal training should be about. We're trying to encourage them to take on that lifestyle. So it's we shouldn't be spoon feeding. We should be empowering. And it sounds like that's the approach you're taking.
Now, I think also that the huge problem right now, I mean, on the social media, I see everybody starting to give live trainings and home training here, home training there. So actually the competition gets really huge right now at this moment. And I like the business model that talks about red ocean and blue ocean. And red ocean, it's red because there are so many sharks there and they eat at each other, and there is blood out there. So it's very, very difficult to compete in. And if you want to compete in the red ocean, where everybody is doing the home training and delivered it in the same format, and actually the value proposition is the same, so the client cannot actually find out, why should I pick this trainer and not that trainer? Then the only thing you can compete on is the price. And as Seth Godin, which is my marketing go-to guru, he says, it's a race to the bottom, because then everybody starts to lower the prices, and then the market just implodes, and it's just not a good thing. So I think that it's very important to find out how you can move out of the red ocean into the blue ocean, and find out what is the actual value you're delivering, which is training is not value, nutrition plans is not value. I mean, it's tools in the toolbox that help people achieve the transformation that they were looking for. But I think that value is composed of three things. One, it's a safe space to practice and to fail and to learn. So you feel that you're not being judged in this community or with the coach that you're with. It's like a sacred space you need to create, even though it's online. So it's a relationship you're building. Then the next thing is actually the transformation itself. The tools that you're providing have to actually work, and also work in this chaotic lifestyle that everybody's having right now, where they don't have time to train for 1 hour focus because the kids are pulling at them. And the third thing is actually this place where you find your niche, and it's the personal intersection of what you're most passionate about and what the client's biggest pain is. So it's like, my business came from that I was doing a lot of fitness training before, but then I went totally down with stress, and my body couldn't do what it used to do. So I really understand and appreciate the pain, and can see the client and what it is if they are standing there and their body doesn't do what it used to do. So we connect over that. And I had so many colleagues who were like, I only work with motivated people and the people who are going to follow up on the plan that I gave them, and all the others I sent to you. And I'm like, thank you, because it's 9 out of 10.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a big market, right? Yeah, okay, Anna, that's lovely. I love the red ocean, blue ocean, and you know that. Yes, and it sort of reminds me of a comment that David made in his bio, where he said how to survive in the online world, that it's currently a race to the bottom. So you know that everybody out there is competing for that space. The competition is massive. So you need to figure out a way that you can differentiate yourself, and you can move into the blue ocean. And I guess that's the point in all PT, that you need to find your niche. And if you find your niche, you know that that means something to you. You have a connection with it. You're passionate about it, and that's going to come through with the people that you work with. But a really interesting perspective, Anna, that that you you work on that level of supporting them, providing them with almost a safe, comfortable space where they can grow and develop, rather than necessarily throwing lots of live sessions or nutrition plans at them. That will all come. They are tools, but it's bigger than that. That's really great. Thank you. Okay, so what else do we've Priyanka, can I just ask, is that how it works in India? Do you are people delivering live sessions online? Are they in different stages of development in this process? I don't know.
They are delivering a lot of live sessions, and moreover, so say for example, in some of them who are taking the group classes as well, these guys have come onto the platforms as Zoom and Skype and all the others, and they are taking their classes. So they are adapting, and it's a progress. And so it's a positive sign. People are open to it. Mostly, certain times, what happens is that people are a little reserved over here, so they don't find very okay with coming on a video calling or having a one-on-one video session with their trainer. These are some of the issues, but on a positive side, people are picking up and they are open about it, and then now it's more like they have no options, so they are just coming out and opening themselves and accepting this change as well. As a personal trainer myself, right now what I've been, so I'm a freelancer, so right now with my clients, what I've been doing with them is giving or providing them with the training programs or the nutrition programs, and also having one-on-one sessions with them over the video calling. And this is really a good thing. And like Anna said, that yes, it is going to be a lot of competition, because people will drop in their prices, and sooner or later they will have to definitely find their niche and differentiate themselves in terms to understand the competition as well.
Yes. Okay, Priyanka. No, that's lovely. Yeah. But you mentioned there that maybe not everybody all clients are comfortable to come online and do a live session with somebody, and I can imagine that must be a somewhat potentially awkward experience. So yes, I can see why. Going back to David's and Anna's point, that it's not necessarily about the delivery of live sessions.
So what I do have a couple of clients who are not very comfortable coming online on a video call and taking the session one-on-one. So what I do with them is I provide them the training program. I follow up with them. These are the few things and these clients of mine are there from quite some time, and it's basically providing value as much as you can right now. And again, there was one very good point, and Anna mentioned that having kids at home is being a challenging part as well, because most of the time is going towards the kids, and they are not getting that 1 hour for themselves to be able to work out. So in these situations also, I would say what might work best is to provide them with the training schedule, and having to follow up with them if they have done it. Like if you have that kind of team who can support you and who are there with you, then these things become more easier.
Yes. Okay. No, absolutely, Priyanka. So that's sort of, again, that's speaking to that point of it's not necessarily about live feeds and working with people. It's about support. So okay, thank you. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking David had quite a range of offerings, if you like, but I'm thinking. I guess our EREPS membership are probably thinking, well, what do I charge for this? Can I charge the same as I charge for those live sessions that I was giving, the face-to-face stuff? How do I approach that? What is a good pricing strategy look like? Tim, do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think David mentioned already that there goes a lot of time into online coaching. I mean, it's very time consuming. So one thought could be, I mean, your price could be based on the time you invest as a trainer, of course. Now, the way I do it is I work on one client, let's say an average of 3 hours per month. The average price a trainer would charge in Belgium would be around 50 euros an hour. So then I would say I might ask an average of 150 euros per month per client. Compared to having like one-on-one sessions in your studio, for most of the clients, this is a pretty cheap option because, I mean, when I would compare a online client who is doing 3 training sessions a week and is paying 150 euros per month, when I would compare him to a live one-on-one client who is training 3 sessions a week, he would be paying 150 euros a week. So for many people, at least we see this happening quite often, is if the financial part is the issue, they would rather get into online coaching than into one-on-one live coaching.
Okay. Yes. All right. Fine. That would suggest that it's making things more accessible from a price point of view. I guess. You know. I think that's really what's coming across there, Tim. Does anybody else want to offer something there? Just open it up. David, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, so I think Anna made a really good point earlier. Is actually what you know, you have to consider why you're getting into this.
Yes.
From an online coaching point of view, what's your goal with this? My goal with online coaching has been to run online coaching. My goal for the online coaching for my gym members is to keep them as customers, so when the gym reopens, they'll still be customers. That's very, so that's why it's very different, right? My goal with online personal training clients is never to have them as one-on-one clients. Never. Like, that's not the goal at all. So you have to be very considerate about what your goals are over the next 3, 6, 9 months, 12 months, because the fitness industry is going to change massively, in my opinion, over this time period. I think a lot of the big gyms are going to disappear. Like the 3,000, 4,000 member gyms, I think they're going to go, because if this goes on for as long as a lot of people are saying, people are going to get very accustomed to training at home. They're going to, I think they'll start to reconsider their gym memberships and things like this. I think it's going to have some long-lasting impacts, and so therefore it may be worth considering a long-term strategy with this online coaching, as well as just as well as just short-term survival.
Yes.
For me, I own the gym, so I have to see that gym survive. So we transition people because we have to see it survive. If you're working in a gym at the moment, that gym might not be there once this is all over. That has to be a consideration, okay? And if that gym is not there, then you're going to need some sort of hybrid approach potentially to offer a service. And a hybrid approach there can be really beneficial. And this could be something like where people get one-on-one in-person training session a week, and then they get access to training plans and online classes. There's lots of options there with that. From a price point of view, I think Timothy was absolutely right there in terms of, basically it's, how much do you want to work and how much do you want to earn? And that's how many clients do you think you can look after? How much do you want to earn, and how many hours are you going to put into it? And you have to do some sums there. You have to figure it out, because I know a lot of online trainers who massively undervalue their services.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, massively undervalue the services. They offer a weekly call, but yet their product is only £100 or €100 a month, and so they're doing all of that admin work plus 4 calls for that. It's less than they can earn one-on-one. So you have to consider that. So I think factoring in how much you charge for your time. So within my offerings, I have packages which are moderate price, which are the ones I focus on because it's a little bit more scalable. But I do have higher end products. which are around 500 a month, £500 a month, you know, that kind of price point. And with that, people get half an hour of a half an hour call every week of support, because because that's in line with what I charge for for hourly personal training. So there's a consideration as to what business is going to look like in 6 months, and so whether this is just survival or whether this is adaptation to a new fitness world afterwards.
Yes, that's a key question, isn't it? Really, is this? Are we just patching things up, or you know, we can learn here. We can progress our businesses. We can adapt, and I think in that sense, very positive. Anna, do you have anything to add there? You were nodding away. I'm just interested in the sort of pricing side of things and how you see all that.
Well, I think that even before this whole situation, a couple of months ago, before the New Year's, we actually took the decision that we won't do the early bird on the 1-year program. We won't do any discounts. We won't do that because it's just undermining the market for everybody, that everybody starts to compete on the price, and then people will expect like something is cheap, and then the personal trainers who actually do a really good job, they will just be out of business because they cannot deliver the good services with high quality to the price that the market expects. So there will be a mismatch. And I think that what we can do for the industry and for ourselves in the future is actually to kind of find out how to keep the prices at the level that mirrors the quality of the services and the products that we're doing. It's very important to not just undermine the whole thing, and that many great high quality providers get out of business because the market expects a lower price. And I think also that the pricing depends on whether you are doing more of the one-on-one, how much one-on-one value do you deliver. If you are like a hotline and the clients call you in the middle of I don't know, you don't have to work nights and weekends, but if the client emails you and says, my back hurts, I couldn't sleep, I can't train, what do I do? And you're actually there to help them fix that right now and then. And it maybe takes you like 5-10 minutes because you know the history and you know what you're doing with the client. Then you should not charge for the 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, there was a story about Picasso that one woman meets him at the street and is like, oh, I'm such a huge fan. She comes with a napkin, would you please draw a little picture for me? And he draws the picture and gives her, and like, it's $1 million. And she's like, are you crazy? It just took you 30 seconds. And then he says, it took me 30 years to learn how to draw that in 30 seconds. So I think the point is that you have to price after the value you're creating for the customer and not after the hours.
Yes, no, it's a brilliant point, isn't it? Yeah, and we mustn't undervalue the service that we're offering here, and as an industry, we mustn't undervalue ourselves. And yes, absolutely, Anna, that's a very, very valid point. Tim, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I think thanks, Anna. You really nailed that one. Unfortunately, here in Belgium, I don't know what about you guys over there, but I would see a ton of coaches offering free stuff online at the moment, like free training programs, free nutrition plans, free lifestyle coaching, like everything is for free. I don't see any other service providing industry, as far as I know of, offering their services for free at the moment. But I do see this happening a lot in our industry at the moment. So yeah, I was just
absolutely, Tim. I think we're back in the red ocean again aren't we? So yes, I can absolutely see that's a big issue. Okay, I'm aware that we're probably coming towards it. Oh, Anna has got the hand up. Great, go for it, Anna.
I just thought about the red ocean thing, and everybody's throwing the free stuff out there on the internet. They forgot what the value for the customer is, and the value is not actually the workout or the exercise or the live training session on the internet. The value is actually that you understand the pain they have and you help them go through that, and learn how to fix it themselves, maybe over a course of time. So when you have to go out and communicate to the customers, you have to kind of put the panic aside a bit and just cut through the noise in a different manner and talk to, I try to call it, I call it like you have to get in bed with the customer, and not in that way, but if you were there when your customer lies in bed in the morning and opens his or her eyes, and the first thing that pops up into the head, the first, oh, I wish I had this fixed. If you go and talk to that, I mean, I don't know any client that wakes up in the morning and it's like, if I just had a new exercise to target my gluteus medius today. It's like nobody cares.
No.
So maybe it's like, oh, I wish I could get just more calmness today in all this kids chaos, or I wish I could carry my kids today, or I wish I wasn't craving a 1 liter coffee before I actually wake up. Some of that stuff, if you talk to that,
yes,
then you will cut away through all the noise. There's like free programs, free exercises, free everything. Forget it. It doesn't create value.
Yes, which is again about building that relationship. I remember your getting in bed analogy from Copenhagen, actually, and I will have to be a little bit careful with that one. But yeah, but we take the point very
it's
much.
Different services.
Yes, that's a different service entirely. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and I mean that was one of the questions that I sort of had really when I came into this, thinking, you know, how do you create that relationship with your client in that online environment? And I think we've sort of, I think we've very much answered that question. That's really, you know, that's at the heart of this. That's what it's all about. And actually, the tools that you have in that online environment facilitate that building of a relationship. So those two things are quite compatible. David, I saw the hand go up.
Just quickly, I was going to say that you know, with the online side of things, there's huge opportunity to build relationships that are as strong as any other relationship you would build with clients. And you know, I've got a couple of Skype calls with clients after this, and these guys, when they're flying to the UK, or they'll divert their travels around the world to come to London and come for a training session or come to lunch with me. I've got online clients that drive for 2 hours to come and do a training session at my gym with me. You know, so there you can build a huge amount of trust and friendship with these people, even if you've never met them before. It doesn't matter. And so I would never worry about that as a scenario with online coaching. I think that you know, you can build fantastic relationships with it if you look after their needs well and you support them when they need you. So I think that's really important. I think at the moment, as Anna said as well, with the exercises and stuff like that, at the moment, in terms of like people's mindsets and people's goals, they've changed for the time being. I would say, in terms of what they're looking to do. I mean, in the area where we work, typically I work in male body composition stuff. So men that want to have more muscle and less body fat, right? So that's our normal message. But at the moment, our message is different, and it is more about, you know, being able to, you know, it's reassurance that they can still get results and still be, you know, still feel good and exercise whilst at home. So it's, the message there is changed from like, get shredded for the summer. Like that's not the message at the moment. It's much more of a reassurance that you can survive without your gym.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, yeah, that's a supportive relationship, I guess. And yeah, I can totally appreciate that. It is personal training after all. So yeah. Okay. Some great points there, guys. I think I was going to ask you, you know, whether you guys are working with any particular kind of software programs, if that's the right phrase, but I know there are things out there that systems that help people manage their online personal training business, that allows them to, you know, do all the administration around their clients, allows them to send them videos of exercises, etc., etc. There are a lot out there in this space, and I guess that's maybe sometimes a difficult choice for the PT. But I think I don't know if anybody is working with one of those programs, but if you are, it'd be quite nice to hear about it. Have we got time for that? Does somebody want to say something on that? Anna, you're away.
At the moment, we have 3 different systems because no one of those systems actually does what we want to do. So we have to merge them, and we're working on doing our own system. But there are many platforms that online course providers use, like Thinkific, I think it's called, or Simplero, which is the one we're using. And it's very easy to actually set something up and also have a module where you have a forum, for example, or something like that, where people can write in, and it's not one-on-one friendly. It's like material delivery system. And then we have a system which is called therapeutic booking, and it's a Danish system. But the thing, when you choose a system where you do actually have personal consultations and you have all the measurements and the pictures of the clients, and you can communicate directly with them or send them PDFs or videos through that, is that it has to meet the GDPR requirements. It has to be encrypted. Yeah, so I don't know if it was much help to tell which systems we're using, but it's just the things you need to think about when you are trying to find out whether you are going to deliver the material to a whole lot of people, or whether you actually have to have the personal contact a lot.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So you have to think about the service you're offering when choosing a system that might support that service.
And it's not GDPR friendly to counsel people or answer on their health-related questions on Facebook.
Sure. Yes, fair point. Fair point. Anybody else to add on that? Anything particularly to say? David?
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I would say that there's literally thousands of options for the software and things that you want to run. So, yes. I mean, you could probably run a course for 7 days on which software to go for. Yes. I would just start, like, if you're a busy personal trainer right now, you should have software already. Like, if you haven't got software already, then you weren't a busy personal trainer in the first place. Yes. and you're going to struggle very much online if you're not organized already with the softwares, the booking systems, the payment gateway. If people aren't on standing orders of direct debits and things, you're really going to struggle. If you're still taking cash for sessions and all this, it's going to be, it's a big transition. So if you've got clients already, you should have software, and that software should be able to work for online in the same way it works for this. You should be able to charge subscriptions and do all these things. For bookings, like, how are your clients currently booking on? Are they using online links, online portals? If they aren't, then they should have been already. So I would say that there's going to be a wake-up call for this, because there's a huge amount of things that you need to be organized with to be successful with the online stuff. But just start really simply. So, start with free softwares, something like Calendly for scheduling calls, or Calendly for scheduling your actual sessions. It's free. You can do that. Using Facebook for Facebook groups for offering live videos. Yeah, you maybe not want to touch on all the individual support side of things, as Anna said, but you can use it for, offering general advice and stuff like that. It's free as well. That's where you could build the community. In terms of payment, people can do standing orders. They can do bank transfers. It doesn't have to be complicated to get started. I wouldn't worry about how to manage 100 clients until you've got 10.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, David. Yeah, no, I think that's very sound advice. Okay, so we are coming to the close of this. It's been fantastic, and thank you all. Could I maybe a bit of a challenging question, maybe, but just give you the opportunity just to give us one pearl of wisdom, one key tip for those PTs out there thinking, how am I going to achieve this? How am I going to transition to this new environment that we find ourselves in? So perhaps if we could finish with that. So Priyanka, would you like to start us off? No pressure.
No. So the one tip that I would like to give the personal trainers out there is something which most of the points we've covered up already, but I would like to repeat or emphasize again, like, don't undervalue yourself or don't get discouraged just because the times are difficult right now. Yes, it will definitely be a competition, but that does not mean that we cannot get through this. As a community entirely, if we know what we really want to provide to our customers, and if we know what value we are adding on to them, supporting them is what will get you through the entire thing. Again, it's not about having a great physique, it's not about having addiction with the gym. Yes, you can train at home as well. You can get in more positive changes with your lifestyle. So that's something which I would like to tell the personal trainers out there. It's not the end, it's, you can transition and we can get through this together.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you, Priyanka. It's yeah, and again that message of not undervaluing ourselves, and of course, and never undervaluing our clients and the support that we can give them. Okay. Thank you. Lovely. Who wants to go next? Nobody's very enthusiastic on that. Well, let's Tim.
So yeah, actually nothing really new, but I would say try to be a specialist, not a generalist.
Yeah,
so
very good.
I mean, this is the same thing for your live one-on-one coaching. I mean, I'd rather see coaches go more into something specific where they're trying to be the best at. This makes you will also target one specific niche more. So as I can see now, a lot of coaches are shooting their offer to the entire World Wide Web. So yes. I would say be specific, have a niche, and this will help you a lot already.
Yeah, excellent. I think that's absolutely a key point. As Anna knows, the International Standards meeting we had in Copenhagen last year, that was the focus was on specialization and differentiation for PTs, and absolutely, that's for me is something that every PT should be considering. You can't just shoot to the whole market. Okay, and next, I see. Let's have Anna, because I think David was just talking to somebody. Anna.
I think my main message would be that you have to stop focusing on what everybody else is doing and try to outdo that. You have to actually just come back and focus on your ideal client, the client that you do want to know what thinks as the first thing in the morning, and can understand that totally and personally and can embrace that. And that client, which is the value that you can give them, which is the pain that you can heal for them, and focus on that, because that will actually help you think in totally different ways of delivery, of marketing to that specific client, which is so so concrete, so
yes, I know.
so
yes.
Detailed. Yeah.
Yes.
That you actually will be able to cut through the noise. If you look at what everybody else is doing and try to compete on the, I'm not delivering 2 hours of live calls, I'm delivering 3 hours of live calls, and
yes.
to this price and not, then you will not be able to innovate, and you have to innovate when you're going into this right now.
Yes, I guess one of the first rules of marketing is know your the needs of your customer, right? So you have to identify that customer and why that customer. What does that customer? Why does that customer have special meaning to you? How can you connect with that customer?
And stop following every other personal training on the Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop having them in your feed so you can focus on the customer.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Anna. And David, maybe the final word.
Yeah, so I would say you have to really consider what your goals are, short and long term here with the online training. If your goals are to continue to be a local personal trainer, then I would focus your online personal training services to your local community and offer as much support to your local community as you possibly can. If you can support your local community more than anyone else right now, when it's all over, you will be the busiest personal trainer in your town or city. That's guaranteed. If you're looking to get out of online, if you're looking to transition away from physical one-on-one personal training to online, then obviously, yes, you can go a little bit wider than that. The wider you go, it gets more competitive. having a niche may be useful if you are going on a much bigger scale. But I would say actually at the moment, it's probably your local community of people that need you most. And so I would if you're a personal trainer, so I would focus on those guys and do your best to look after them. Don't do anything for free. If you can help it, I really wouldn't try. I'd try and do nothing at all for free. You can give a few tips and bits of advice for free, but you know, get into conversations with people, talk to people, find out what they need, provide what they need, and work with them and help them.
Yes, brilliant. I think yeah, that's a really nice note to end on. That you know, our communities out there are, let's face it, in trouble. We're more isolated now than we've ever been. People may be quite frightened, quite scared, and you know, we can do a lot to offer support to those situations. So again, EREPS members, fitness professionals across the world, you know, you would hope that they would be at the heart of those communities, enabling them, empowering them, Anna, and supporting them. Yes, okay, fantastic. Well, it's been great. I've really enjoyed the chat. Thank you for all your contributions. I'm sure our membership will find that very useful. You know, I would hope that we could have more conversations in the future. So I hope you would all be open to that, because I want to continue to offer support to our members out there. But yes, thank you all, and yeah, stay safe.
Same to you, Julian.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye. 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 Thank you.
Bye.